In just the last 10 plus years or so, Minecraft has become one of the most played and best-selling games of all time. With this, there's about a 99% chance that you've heard of the game, and in the last 2 to 3 years, many have started to grow nostalgic and fall in love with the game's soundtrack. But why is that? And what does the future hold for Minecraft's soundtrack and the ambience of the game? I'm JP the Dweeb, and today I will be going over how Minecraft's soundtrack made an entire generation nostalgic, and my thoughts on the future of its soundtrack with the new 1.18 soundtrack being recently released. Alright, to start off, let's go back to the beginning of the game way back in 2009. In 2009, a developer known as Marcus Persson started working on a new 3D interactive game with the unique ability to build and do whatever with your environment with unlimited creative freedom. This concept was a huge success, and after a few updates to the game, it really started to take shape. This is where a small music producer by the name of Daniel Rosenfeld, commonly known as C418, comes in. Marcus found Daniel on a small developer forum known as TigSource, which is where Marcus was active in posting updates for the game before it started to gain a ton of traction. Marcus and Daniel worked together for a bit, Daniel made the music and Marcus would pick what best fit and put it in the game. Marcus made the game using Java, which uses an audio system where you can't really have event-based audio like if you were fighting a mob, so any music or sounds you play have to be from an entity or a determined point or out loud and audible to the player throughout the whole world. Also, if they were to incorporate fight or specific event-based audio like in games such as Skyrim, there wouldn't be as much of a point due to the fights in Minecraft being so short. This made it so that Daniel chose to make music that could play randomly or at given times such as sunrise or sunset. Daniel started composing the soundtrack, and he tried to base it off the simplicity and calmness of Minecraft, and the end result was his Minecraft Volume Alpha. This album consists mainly of the survival mode tracks that most know and have come to love so much over time. Most people when they first play the game tend to not even realize that the music is playing, which actually perfectly fits the game as the simplicity of the music goes so well with the simple piano melodies of tracks like Sweden and Dry Hands, along with ambient undertones of tracks like Oxygen. Here's a quick example of some gameplay with the music to give you an idea. Over time, the feeling expressed by this experience came back to people's minds, and this is what caused many to feel nostalgic for their past enjoyment of the game. The music brings back memories of playing this new, creative, blocky game for the first time. This feeling for the game isn't only experienced from the first album though, as later in 2013, a new album for Minecraft was made for the new creative mode and the music discs that were added in version 1.0. This album is C418's Minecraft Volume Beta. With this album, Daniel incorporated a lot more ambience and rhythm into the tracks. These tracks aren't as widely recognized, even though most who have played Minecraft would know them. This is probably due to creative mode not being as widely played as survival mode, but I do still feel like this album does deserve more recognition because, like Volume Alpha, it truly is a work of art. Besides the two albums I mentioned so far, until 2020 there wasn't much music released for Minecraft besides the aquatic music added in version 1.13 and some resource packs for Bedrock Edition following Microsoft's purchase of Minecraft in 2014. The aquatic music was also made by C418 and was also on the more ambient side like Volume Beta. This was just 3 tracks made specifically for being played when the player is underwater. As of early 2022 though, these are the last of the tracks made for Minecraft by C418, but there were still tracks added to the game by other artists such as Lena Raine. These other artists made the soundtrack for the Nether update and more recently the Caves and Cliffs update. Now with this, some people really enjoyed the new music and tracks such as the new disc Pickstep added in the Nether update, but some are disappointed that Microsoft and Mojang haven't had C418 work on the game's soundtrack recently and are wondering if we'll see any more music by C418 implemented, which I'll talk about in a second. First though, I wanted to talk about the newer music, specifically the Caves and Cliffs soundtrack by Lena Raine and Kumi Tanioka. A few weeks ago as research for this video, I listened to the full Caves and Cliffs soundtrack so I could give you guys my full opinion, and I'm happy to say I genuinely enjoyed the new music for the game. It obviously felt new, but it kept a similar calmness like the original music. My favorite from this album is probably Stand Tall by Lena Raine, which has a really nice piano with a catchy triumphant kind of theme throughout the beginning of the track. I highly recommend listening to this soundtrack by itself because the artist put a lot of work into these tracks, and I could imagine it was probably stressful having to make new music for a game that already has a highly respected soundtrack. Now regarding future music for Minecraft, things seem uncertain. Many have been wondering if C418 will be back to working on the soundtrack, but recently things have seemed to prove otherwise. Now with Minecraft being owned by Microsoft, their decisions with the direction of Minecraft's music are a bit more money motivated than what they used to be back when Minecraft was just an indie game. Now though, they've been more willing to sign with artists that would be on the more commercial side, such as Lena Raine, who's worked on video game music on a larger scale for a while. This has made it harder for C418 to sign a legal agreement with Microsoft, even though he said that he already has new music for Minecraft ready. If you want more information on this subject, there's a video by SalC1 on the topic called The History of Minecraft's Music, which goes into further detail and I highly recommend watching it. So overall, like I mentioned, the future of Minecraft's music seems uncertain. Many hope to see C418 back to making Minecraft music again, but this unfortunately seems unrealistic. This doesn't mean that Minecraft's soundtrack won't continue to sound great though, and the new update has shown that other artists can create good music for Minecraft. But what are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments what you think about this situation, and be sure to subscribe if you enjoyed. Please like the video as it helps me out a ton, and the dislike button is completely useless now. But anyways, it's been me, JP the Dweeb, and I will see you all very soon.